How's it going, everyone? It's finally happened. I was pleasantly surprised with this one. Not know what to kind of expect with this. It's one of those kind of things where it's like, Fleming had a very distinctive style. It took me a bit to kind of get on board with Fleming. His writing, and weirdly enough, the thing that helped me the most understand Fleming in the best way possible was like Downton Abbey. Going into the continuation novels, it's been something else. With the Amazon purchase of the Bond franchise, really look into these and see like what it is like with Bond through different eyes. Like License Renewed was quite a lady. It's really one of those things to where for me, I really didn't know what I was going to get into. Try to kind of go in as blind as possible. It's very interesting, this book. Obviously, Gardner was meant to write a James Bond book, but by this time, this book came out in like 1981. It was one of those things, the films had bled their way into the consciousness. I felt like I was reading a movie, which is not a bad thing. I was kind of very appreciative of like the little nuances throughout the story, but I would start picking up on little like, well, that sounds just like Thunderball, or it may have been like the intention, but pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed this. Bond is tasked to look after Anton Murek, who is a jaded nuclear physicist, and he wants to get his reactor going. Kind of in the beginning was picturing Roger Moore, like Man with a Golden Gun Roger Moore, because there's like a scene in like M's office where he's like, oh yes, oh yeah, it felt like Roger Moore. But as I kind of like went along with it's like I was able to kind of like associate any kind of actor. Sometimes George Lazenby would creep in there, Sean Connery. I thought it was very well paced, not too much globetrotting. Bond goes to Scotland. Female characters, Lavender Peacock, Dilly was her name. But I do kind of like the fact that Gardner kind of took the Bond female relations in kind of a different path. One of the things about like the Flemings was like Bond would meet a girl and then almost immediately have like thoughts of marrying her, and it was like, you just met her, Bond, like what's going on? More of like measured approaches with it, so I really kind of appreciate what they did with that. And also like the villain too, like he would like, it was kind of megalomaniacal, but at the same time it wasn't over the top. I kind of got, in a sense, like the stakes. It was kind of like I was invested in just typical Fleming, kind of like one of those things too, where they just wrap it up. But, that was fine. It wasn't any kind of like jarring thing. I really enjoyed this. I would honestly suggest reading this. I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to even top the Flemings, but it's up there with them. It's very detailed where it needs to be detailed, but it's very like kind of flowing as well. Once it gets going, it really gets going. Definitely read this one if you have not. I really think like it was probably wise to kind of meld the two worlds, because again, there are callbacks in the novels. There's nothing in the movies, it's not like he's like, oh yes, I remember I took on Carl Schoenberg. Melding of the two in this one, and I really do like suggest just definitely pick this up if you're ever curious about continuation Bond. I think this was a pleasant surprise. Have read this, let me know what you think. I'd be curious to see like many different perspectives on this one. I know a lot of comparisons make him to Fleming, but definitely like what do you think about Gardner and his License Renewed? So yeah, definitely let me know in the comments. And next up is for special services. I'll be diving into that one. I got a few unboxings going on. Hope you guys have a great evening, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.